Peace and love, my beautiful brothers and sisters. My name is Jonathan. Welcome to... Shit, I was just talking about this. What are we called? Bliss. Alright, it's called Bliss. Oh man, welcome. It's time for me to make another video about Moldavite, because it's been a long time since I talked about Moldavite. For good reason. My Moldavite left me. I lost about 3 of my Moldavites, and I ended up giving away and exchanging the rest in jewelry, and there was a period of time where I had no Moldavite, and it's come back to me, and I put it in this spider totem ring. As I've talked about spider being one of my most prominent spirit guides in this matrix reality, but now I'd like to talk a little bit more about Moldavite, because it's been a while since I talked about it, and so much has happened. No, I'm gonna get comfortable. Moldavite's a topic. So, Moldavite. Moldavite is a very, very higher dimensional stone. It is a tektite. It's a type of glass, silicate lattice structure. It's not the typical crystal lattice structure. It's very glass-like. Very, very similar, comparable to glass. From the Czech Republic, a meteorite that crashed about 18 million years ago. Very high vibrational, and the fact that it's so glassy, it's just it's so conducive, like differently than regular crystals are. This just generates and it just reprocesses, reprograms, restructures. It is the light worker stone, the stone of the 144,000. It is the life changing. Anybody who's barely interested in metaphysical should come across this stone. Stones like this are what woke me up. Understanding that there is subtle energy, very tangible in this world. That's what Moldavite is for. Crazy. So it's just understanding that the subtle realities that lay just beneath this one illusory physical reality are very, very much so reachable. You can tap into all of them, and there's unlimited because there's infinite. So it's a stone that you can get to know. It's a stone that you can get comfortable with, keep on you in your aura. This is the first time I've ever worn it as a ring. I usually have it as a pendant or just in my pocket. I love loose Moldavite stones, but this one just kind of came together. I received this one on my solar return, and it just kind of made itself. It's usually how it goes over here. But yeah, Moldavite's crazy. It's really for empathy above all things, because one of the best ways to get in touch with the subtle realities is to allow your empathy to just flow forth. We're all empaths at the end of the day, and that telepathic nature doesn't just reside in what we think of as normal communication. It also resides in our everyday interactions with animate and inanimate objects alike, figments of our imagination, perceptions, situations. We can communicate with anything and everything. We communicate with ourselves internally. We communicate with the air as we walk through it, as we breathe it in. It's just really understanding that we can get in touch with a deeper part of ourselves. Moldavite is also for higher dimensional communication and for lower dimensional reprocessing. It resonates with the Earth Star chakra. So even when we're not utilizing it, it is working full time as sending energy, pure energy, right back down to the crystal at the center of this planet all the time, and just charging her up and just giving her the lifeblood. So it's really cool that it's just always doing its job. And to have that on your person is a game changer, because at that point you're just getting grounded in such a high vibrational way. Because what Moldavite does is it brings downloads in at an alarmingly intense rate. That's why some people just get flushed. So people call it Moldavite flush, where they'll just either start crying, or blood either drains from their hands or face, or it rushes to their head, or whatever it is for them. It's going to be painful sometimes, because it's a subconscious purger. It just gets stuff out that doesn't need to be in you anymore. And it's cool because it'll just be working on you. But bringing in these higher downloads at an intensely, alarmingly fast rate that it takes some getting used to. But when you do, it's like, in order to have it on you for a prolonged period of time, you have to be working on yourself. You have to do the inner work. You have to be meditating. You have to be disciplining. You have to be revisiting things you don't like to think about. You really have to go through it. You got to go through it. It's worth it because it activates you. It activates all your latent powers, abilities, possibilities, abundance. Like you let the abundance come in. It's really what it is. It's just everything that you are capable of that you don't let yourself attain. Moldavite is going to be like, okay, this is what you need to do to let it in, and just I'm going to keep on pushing these buttons until you let it in. And some people can't handle it. I know some people who I've gifted Organite to, that had, did I give it? I had to do at least one Organite with Moldavite in it. If not, then it was just a plain Moldavite. But people just couldn't bear it. And either they don't use it, they don't touch it, or it ended up going to somebody else, because some people aren't meant to really be activated to this level. Either that, or it just takes time, which of course is fine, because it's your own journey. Be patient with yourself. But it's deep activation. Telepathy is also going to be activated at a very intense, conscious level. Telepathy is just this awareness of the mental plane, and so many people think that they have their little heads to themselves, but really everybody's in there. Everybody, not all these thoughts are yours. I made a video about this last week, and I have so many more videos from last year and the year before talking about this, mostly with talking to plant spirits and crystal spirits, but now I'll bring it to people. It's about time I talked about it this way. The more you observe your thoughts, the more your thoughts will quiet, and the more your thoughts will quiet, you will notice that you're not the one that's being loud. That's it. Stay in observation and you will notice this. Then you will be able to position and detect where these thoughts are stemming from, because we are all source. We are all projections of source from the heart space. The heart space is where we take in and put out energy at all times. This is the astral realm contained right here. This is the fourth dimension. So you will always know if you're the one, like after enough observation, you'll always know if you're the one projecting or you're the one receiving, and you can feel it. You can also hear it. It can manifest auditorily or any other form of sense if you need it to. However, if that's not how it's meant to be, it could just be a feeling, which is fine, because everyone has to receive it their own way. However, Moldavite's gonna amplify this, really make this noticeable, because it's such a high vibrational stone that it taps you into these higher vibrational abilities. And this really is a higher realm. You have to let go of all that doesn't serve you in order to really tap into this, but it just lets it happen. It just lets it happen. And then the more you observe it and get to witness it for long enough, you get to be able to control it. And you'll be able to control it more and more the more you work with it. Manifestation, also a form of telepathy, I consider. But let's just talk about it in its solitary form. Manifestation, just focusing your conscious thoughts on what you want, what you need, what you deserve. Everything that's coming to you is coming to you, has been coming to you. You just have to allow it to reach you. That's what manifestation is. And you can manipulate what the form of it is and what exactly the substance of it will be just by deciding, okay, this is what I'm focusing my conscious thought process on. Because in doing that, that's how you decide. That's how you choose. That's how you create. So just understand that that's what Moldavite's letting happen all the time. Meditation with Moldavite is crazy. I love meditating with Moldavite, especially since I used it to form this spirit. And I would love to do it with some of my other spirits, such as the dragonfly spirit, the butterfly spirit. Those are some other of my very close totems. However, spider and phoenix right now, number one. But yes, meditation with Moldavite is deep. Prepare to make contact with either subconscious aspects of yourself. A great way to contact your subconscious is to allow it to manifest in a form of a being, of deities. However it appears to you, you can have inner dialogue with parts of yourself that are hard to access, and these are the subconscious and unconscious minds. Subconscious and unconscious minds. Similar to dream states, how you'll have your mind appearing as forms that you can interact with and have whole other lifetimes in if you really go lucid. This is a great way in meditation. Moldavite will really allow you to get in touch with these parts of yourself. Putting names and faces to parts of your deeper and usually inaccessible personality is a really good trick to really reach these parts of yourself. And this is a really occult thing. It's a really pagan thing, but just it doesn't have to be so complicated. It doesn't have to be so traditional and from the books and step by step. I drew this and then I wrote this and all that. Like, it's all this. It's what it all is. It's that all is one. And Moldavite just hones it all in. Moldavite holds it all in. So allowing your thoughts to go, especially with a silent, still mind, after you've already been observing your thoughts, you can really just understand, okay, this is Moldavite right now, and I'm just on the ride. And sometimes it'll want you to just be in still silence, darkness, and sometimes it'll just show you stuff, and that's for you. Whatever it is, just allow it to take place. And projection of consciousness, transference of consciousness to your other dimensional bodies is very common. I usually talk about blue kyanite being the one that forces me out of my body against my will very often. But Moldavite, it's more controllable, and it's not so much literally physically astral body coming out like with blue kyanite, but with this is really what I would call consciousness projection. Through visualization, I have full sensory experience of being somewhere else. And sometimes it'll be in this room and I'm watching my body, or sometimes it'll be in another world, or sometimes it'll be in a dream state. Who knows? It's usually different every time, but it's more, it's less like blue kyanite. It's like, oh shit, you're just on the ride. But Moldavite is really, it's like teaching you. Giving you like, okay, this is the steering wheel, this is the pedal, this does this does this, and it's really like, it wants to show you wild shit every time, but it's really helping you to learn how to access it on your own later, which I love about it. Another thing about Moldavite is it wants to become one meteorite again. Everybody who has Moldavite is going to find everybody who has Moldavite. That is what I have learned. That's what I have decided. If you have Moldavite,
people who also have Moldavite are just going to start showing up, and it's not going to be from hashtags, and it's not going to be from searching. It's going to be from complete and utter synchronicity. Complete and utter synchronicity. It gets beyond words at that point. You kind of just have to accept that this is a part of your life now, that everything connects to everything, and Tribe is gonna really start to come out of the woodworks for you. Yeah, and then you're just gonna end up right where you need to be. That's it. That's all there is for that part. I don't know what's happened with Moldavite lately. It's really good for energy work and element bending. Air bending has been extremely easy lately. Water bending is coming. Even messing around with fire a little bit has been really easy with Moldavite. But it's just the fact that subtle realm and understanding that everything has consciousness, it makes it tangible. It makes it easy to wrap your head around, makes it easy to really, like, at a heart level, connect to. And self-doubts in your subconscious mind will start to dissipate, and reprogramming your subconscious mind is going to become easier. Because one of the biggest things for starseeds who are learning to manifest is, how do I get around that voice in the back of my head that wants to tell me it's impossible, that wants to tell me, oh yeah, remember when that didn't work, oh yeah, I remember you said this and that's not going to work. So many of us have that voice in the back of our head. How do we get around that? How do we get rid of that? Well, you don't get rid of it, you transmute it. So everything operates on the laws of polarity. So it's, okay, I need the higher form of this thing. I can't get rid of it. So Moldavite's gonna turn the dial real quick. Real quick, and you gotta face it. So you'll be wearing it, it turns the dial up, and all of a sudden everything you didn't want to think about like that's gonna be right in front of you, and you have to look at it, you have to acknowledge it, and then you have to figure out what to do with it. When what it is to let it go. Because as soon as you surrender to it and let it go, which is scary, I understand, we've all been there, but once you let it go and once you surrender to this current of inevitable flow, you fall into it. It's the biggest thing. It's just surrendering to Moldavite. Moldavite is its own beast. It has a mind of its own, and it is here to assist in something greater than my ego could even try to comprehend. Whenever I make these videos on Moldavite, and of course I have more because I have more to talk about, but those need to be their own topics. But what I do have to say is just, you just have to allow it to do its work. As a Reiki healer, I look forward to having my 8 to 10 gram piece, maybe 20 gram if I can manifest it. I can manifest it. And just laying it on somebody's heart chakra and just letting it do its work, and it will probably take care of half the Reiki session for me, to be honest, just because it's such a crazy transmuter. Such a crazy transmuter. I love it. But yeah, that's what I have for you right now. I highly recommend investing in some Moldavite, trustworthy sources, because there's a lot of fake Moldavite out there. If you would like to know how to identify fake Moldavite, contact me. I would also, I'll probably make when I have examples, okay, I'll need to find, because I got rid of that one piece that I knew wasn't real. But I'll have some examples, and I'll give you a little shot of what's real and what's fake Moldavite. Contact me if you're looking for Moldavite. I got you with the starseed medicine. We can make it into jewelry, talismans, specifically for energy work. Things like this, pendants as well. This is my pendant I made to help me with my second Reiki attunement. Yeah, and this is all for our betterment and our awakening. So peace and love, a lot of peace and love. Yeah, just allow it to happen.